I'm Thomas Noermark. I'm the Global Head of Innovation in Entity Data Business Solution. I've been working with technology for all my life. 10 years ago, I transitioned into more like the innovative technologies. Later point, it was called disruptive technologies, emergent technologies, exponential technologies. It's kind of the same journey, but with different names. And today I'm really focusing on the artificial intelligence and the user experience part of the technology and what it can bring. Imagine that before we had all this fancy technology, human beings would still communicate with each other, right? And we used to be communicating on human terms. So I can speak in my natural language, I can understand a natural language, and using my body language, my micro expressions, and all of that. But then when the technology came into play, we could not communicate with the technology on the same terms. So we needed to create this kind of abstraction layer between the humans and the technology. We tend to call them user screens or interfaces, right? So we have to type, we have to drag and drop, we have to click and all that in order to communicate with the technology. But what we have seen with the digital human technology is that the interface is getting back to the human term, right? So we can interact with the machines and with the technology on human terms again. I can talk to the machine, I can get emotional feedback from the machine. The machine can understand my natural language and it can speak back to me in a natural language. It can even understand my emotions and it can use body language, micro expressions. So all the things that we had before the technology came into play, we're actually back at that point and we can communicate on human terms with the technology. If we think about the role of AI, talking about digital human and humanizing the interface between human and machines, it has played a tremendous role because we can now solve some problems that were not easily solved before we had AI. What it's all about is that we are feeding examples into the machine, and then the machine can learn from the examples. So we have something called NLP, natural language processing. That means that we are feeding a lot of unstructured text, a lot of language bytes into the machine, and over time it understands how to actually communicate in a natural language and understand a natural language. The same we have done with the emotional part of this interface. So feeding the machine with thousands of examples of people looking sad, thousands of examples of people looking excited, and so forth. And over time, the machine will learn, it will get trained to understand these emotional expressions. And this is really what has changed a lot, because before AI, we had to program everything with logic, and it's very hard to write a program that tells the machine how to understand a face looking happy, sad, disgusted, excited, and so forth. But with AI, we can do it. If we look at the marketplaces of today, the battle of relevance is all about customer experience. And what you can do with this new technology is that you can actually provide extraordinary customer experiences, because you can connect to the customers and to the users emotionally. Having eye contact, seeing that little smile in the face, the micro expression, the body language, it actually awakes some emotional feelings inside the receiver, and we can use that commercially. It's a fact that emotionally connected customers and users are more loyal to brands. They sort of have a higher lifetime customer value, and this is really what this technology is all about, is communicating not only information, so information exchange, but also communicating emotions and connecting with the users and customer emotionally. Looking into the future with AI is always a good thing, actually, also to look into the past, right? And what we have done in the past century is that we have sort of like automated or replaced our hands and arms and legs with technology, right? And what we will see in the next century is that we will actually try to replace what is above the shoulders, so our intelligence. And of course, that can be a scary thought, but I believe that even though Homo sapiens means wise man, we should not define ourselves as intelligent creatures, but we should more look down to the emotional space as human beings. And what we will see in the future is that we can really replicate not only human behavior, but also the look and feel, the appearance of human beings in technology, virtually. We will see that everything will be sort of like merging together, the physical space and the virtual space. We all know about the metaverse and how we will be part of this virtual reality, virtual kind of perception that will be more and more intruding our just pause there. So imagine that every human would have a digital twin, a virtual double, right? And you could just send your double to represent you in any kind of thing that you don't want to participate in yourself. You could be in many places at the same time. You could scale yourself in a completely new way. You could join a meeting in Australia, you could talk to your family in Europe, and at the same time you will be able to join that chess tournament in Canada. And this is really a very, very interesting and of course also a little bit scary thought that we will be able to scale ourselves in that manner. But again, we will just have to focus on all the good things we can do with this. And I believe that there are so many good applications with the technology that we're looking into. Now we're in a stage where we can actually replicate human beings in technology. And imagine what good applications we can then provide. One case would be that imagine that you have an exhibition car in an airport, and normally there will be no one standing next to the exhibition car telling you about the car. You're all on your own when you're approaching that car, right? But imagine that you had this digital car dealer standing next to the car in the airport, and he or she or it could be standing there 24/7 every day, talking about that particular car without getting bored, without getting tired, always having that smile on your face or her face. That is really something that can create tremendous value. Then imagine that the same persona that you meet at the airport will also be inside the car infotainment system. So you can actually take that experience from the airport and you can continue the conversation inside the car when you decide to purchase the car. And maybe in the dealership you can also meet this persona, and on the website. So it will be this face representing that particular car brand, going through all the channels, communication channels that this company provides. And this means that you get this personalized, context-based, consistent service that you will not be able to get in a world with only human beings. Bringing digital humans to the markets and to the world, we have seen some challenges, of course. One of the challenges lies in the adoption, the human adoption, right? So the technology is exponential, but human development is linear, and at some point we need some time for human beings to adapt to the new technology capabilities. And this is where we as an IT company and as as an advisory, need to go in and help the clients and the customers and the users to adopt this technology and be familiar and comfortable with this technology. So this is one of our roles when we are doing those digital human projects. It's very much about change management at the same time, because if you introduce a digital human receptionist, what would the employees say to that? Because normally they would talk to that human receptionist and they would get that smile every morning saying hello to the human receptionist. But now it's a digital version. It can also wave at you and smile at you and say hello, but there is still an adoption phase, right? Because it's kind of sci-fi for many people still, even though the technology is out there and ready to be used in a productive manner. My advice to the business leaders would be that you need to be aware that there is a new generation of interfaces coming to the markets. And it's already there. We can see it on the Gartner Hype Cycle, already adopted digital humans almost 1 year ago. And when this interface kicks in, then the self-service portals and the online forms and what have we will not be accepted anymore. The users, the client, the customers would expect to interact with a brand, with technology, on the terms of human beings and not on the terms of technology.